I need a 30-minute dissertation to trigger the left. With the right, all I need is a bag of Skittles. When I started my channel, I said that if progressives kept injecting identity politics into everything, eventually people would see anything featuring women, blacks, gays, or trans people and go, it's that SJW nonsense, and trash it. Well, here we are. I saw this tweet making the rounds, and I haven't stopped smiling. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers tweeted about the new Mario trailer, saying that he loved the Mario Kart scene. Then he got this response from a very precious snowflake. Quote, disgusting they had to include woke pride flag nonsense. Oh, pobrecito. Show me on your non-existent desert sky daddy where the gays hurt you. What he's referring to is a rainbow-colored racetrack. See, it's woke because gay people use the rainbow as their symbol. So if you see a rainbow, that means the gays are trying to indoctrinate your kids into their gay agenda because only groomers like rainbows. I can't imagine how stupid you have to be triggered by a rainbow, but I can imagine how funny it is to see it. Just imagine this dude outside after it rains. Like, oh shit, there's a rainbow. The sky is woke. The sky is woke. If he went into a cereal aisle, he'd be having conniptions. Tricks, Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles, it's like a gay conspiracy. They're even putting it in the names. How long before someone claims Lucky Charms secretly sexualizes children by showing them running off with this ginger leprechaun in skin-tight pants who tells them his treats are magically delicious? Like, if I show you a pack of Starbursts, will you just pass out? I'm tempted to find someone in the MAGA hat and shake a pack of Skittles at them just to see what happens. You won't taste the rainbow? It's not like it's your first time. I make fun of it because it is retarded. But seriously, it's interesting watching the right become so anti-woke, they're basically woke. Or really, they've gone back to their old ways, searching for something, anything that offends them. They've claimed for years that the problem wasn't the presence of women, blacks, gays, or trans people, but identity politics. Now, that pretense is gone. Everything is leftist. Everything is Marxist. Everything is woke. And they have to point it all out. Gee, that sounds so familiar. It's nothing but identitarianism, just a Pavlovian response to seeing groups they've always disliked. So-called red tubers might call this the right going mask off, but that implies there was a mask on in the first place, but there never was. I said this shortly after I started my channel. The pendulum being pushed to the far left would eventually swing back to the far right, and all that shit the right claimed they no longer believed, like their animosity towards certain groups of people, will come back out at full force, and here we are. So, progressives, are you happy? I know you're tempted to blame far-right extremists for this, and you're not entirely wrong. Look what they did to Kanye. However, you made that possible. American culture had reached a point where this wouldn't have flown 10 years ago. Everyone, including some conservatives, would have clowned this dude off the internet for saying something so stupid. But now that's probably not the response he's getting, at least not from his own side. Progressives delved too greedily and too deep, and now you've released Obama's Bane. I told you this would happen, and like I predicted, it's not limited to overreactions to movie trailers. Back in June, you had schools in one Florida county warning teachers and staff not to wear rainbow-colored clothing or place pictures of their same-sex spouses on their desks so they wouldn't violate the Don't Say Gay bill. You could see this in the reaction to Disney's Strange World bombing in theaters. All available evidence points to it bombing because Disney failed to promote it. However, the narrative from the right, as one commenter put it, is, quote, kids are taken to movies by their parents who are predominantly heterosexual. Heterosexual parents don't want to take their kids to see LGBTQ MNOP plus asterisk hashtag up, down, left, right, whole day, press start media. Now, I know that's not true because not all, and I would guess not even most straight parents have a problem with their kids seeing gay or trans people in person, let alone in media. That problem is largely held by one political group primarily because of their religious beliefs, a group that had basically been laughed into silence. However, because somebody, it was you, decided to introduce the Baskin-Robbins of sexual orientation and gender identity, these clowns now have clout, and now the mere presence of a gay person, real or fictional, is somehow indoctrination. Do you see how far this has gone? They're triggered by fucking rainbows. And it's not going to end there. We just saw what happened at Club Q, and their response to it. The next time, and there will be a next time, there'll be children present. And while it will be a thing to behold the people who claim they want to protect the children try to find a way to blame the kids or their parents or excuse what happens, now do you see the cost of the game you're playing? You need to dial it back. You're making this fight harder than it needs to be. You need to stop with the identity politics bullshit before this gets so far out of hand that you have nothing to hold on to. Now, I know there are right-wingers fiercely typing comments about how I hate the right, so let me remind you that I watch right-wing YouTube channels, read their social media feeds, and watch their news networks. I'm well-versed in your arguments. I just don't agree with them. I understand that you believe that you're always right and that your side has never done anything wrong. You're welcome to believe that. I don't have to. I know you don't like being criticized. That's fine. Nobody likes being criticized. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And to be honest, your complaints would have more weight if you weren't accusing everyone left of center of being pedophiles or communists or immoral or the cause of everything bad in the world. Don't take my word for it. Just read Jordan Peterson's Twitter feed. I'm criticizing you the same way I criticize the left. I understand you don't like being on the receiving end of it. You're welcome to feel that way. That's not going to change my criticism. And I'm not going to put on pillow soft kids gloves just in case I might hurt your feelings. You dish out some pretty harsh criticism of the left. Don't be that guy who can dish it out but can't take it. You might be tempted to tell me to stay out of politics and stick to what I do best, what I've been doing for the last 5 years, which, as I recall, was talking about identity politics. So, yeah, when you tell me to stay in my lane, I am in my lane. If you don't want to get hit, I suggest you move. I'm expressing my opinions, not yours. I'm not Tim Pool. I'm not Dave Rubin. I'm not going to spout your talking points back at you because that's what you want to hear, and I don't change my opinions for money, likes, or clicks. You said for years that you're the ones who want to have mature debates. Okay, well, that includes people vehemently disagreeing with you. If you're the mature adult you claim to be, you should be able to handle fiery debates without any animosity. But if you want to act like a whiny little brat who throws tantrums whenever anyone checks you, you can take your ass back to the kiddie table. Don't get sensitive when your side gets criticized for things they actually do. After all, you're the better people with the better ideas and better values. You should be able to take it. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.